Good morning. We are not going to paint today, but I wanted to show you the process I go through when I'm picking out an ideal painting. Um, as some of you know, in January, I take the month off from commissions because I want time to just paint what I want to paint. Sometimes I make a couple of exceptions if I really want to paint something, but otherwise, January is all about me and learning and getting better as an artist. So what I want to tell you today is how I go about choosing a painting. And I'll let you know the place that I go for really good reference photos is called pmp-art.com. And that PMP stands for Paint My Photo. Go there, sign up for an account, follow S. Larson Watercolors if you want. You can kind of see what photos I've used and the paintings I've created from them. But just go and look on the reference photos there, and you can search through thousands and thousands of photos. So speaking of thousands, the last few days have gone to that site to see what inspired me, and I'm pretty sure I went through at least 1,000 photos, and this is the one that struck me. I did crop it to be a square because that's what I wanted to paint. And I also cropped it so that the objects were off center because I don't like things looking too perfect. It's not visually appealing to the people looking at it. So I printed this off. This is the painting I liked, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. First, I want to talk about Notan and values and a few other things. So this looks like maybe nothing, but back in 2015, when I was really trying to learn what makes a good painting or even a good photo, if you're taking reference photos, what makes a really good image is a photo that has a 3-value Notan. And here's what that means. First of all, a value is are the shades of a color. So if you were to take a photo and on your iPhone or an app on your laptop, if you were to put it all in grayscale, what you would be seeing is one color, but all the different values in it, from white to black and everything in between. But a painting or an image that is really striking has three main values, okay? So black, of course, is the darkest. I'm going to use my silver Sharpie to be the middle tones, the gray tones in between. And then the white of the paper is my white value. So if you can look at a photo and break it down to just 3 values and nothing more, which is kind of tricky, when you sketch out the very basic abstract shapes, you are sketching out the Notan of this photo. So for instance, this one, hopefully you can see it okay. This is 2 little dark kittens sitting on a saddle in my barn. And of course the kittens had white on their chest and their faces, and the background was pretty vague, so that was a gray. So I broke the entire photo, even though it had many different shades and values. I made it just 3. And the shapes that it leaves behind, that kind of indicates the Notan. So you don't have to remember this. You just have to remember that ideally, if you can break a photo down to 3 colors or values, that would be great. So practice doing that. This was a collie in the snow. The main color, of course, the main value is the white of the snow, and the white of the collie is collar. And then the tan fur was the middle tone, and the dark black of the nose, the eyes, and the trim on the ears was the black. So what makes a really pleasing picture or a painting, a pleasing one to the eye of the viewer, is when there is one dominant value. So for instance, this one of the collie in the snow would make a great painting because the most dominant value is the white. Let's see, this one was a kitty standing by this barn door of mine. It's kind of hard to tell what the dominant value is. It's probably gray, but everything is split maybe a little too equal, so the interest just isn't there. let's see, the other thing that makes this, I know this probably looks like a bunch of strange shapes here, but when I plan a painting, I don't just look at the values, but I also look at the way things are configured. So for instance, you never want here's an example. It's a landscape that I did. All I did was sketch the basic shapes, okay? And what doesn't make a good painting is when you split the horizon line straight down the middle. The more unequal something is, the more beautiful it is to look at. So I made a little note here that if I were to do this painting again, I would crop the bottom of the landscape up higher so there was more sky, less ground. This was a couple of horses in the snow. That has a great visual appeal because it's super interesting. This one was of some flowers that I did. I know it doesn't look like it, but it was so unequal and didn't make sense. That made it beautiful. So now it's easy for me when I look at my past paintings and I'm thinking, what's wrong with that? It's very easy for me to look at and say, oh, it's too perfect, it's too centered, it's too arranged, it's too planned, or it's too many middle tones, or too much white and not enough other interest. But anyway, let's go back to this one, and I'm going to show you how I would break it down. We'll use this spot here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get a pencil and just draw the basic square here, okay? There we go. And it looks like the table is about down to here, which I like. I like that it's off center. And then I also have the bottles starting off center, which I like. Okay. Real basic here, guys. And then the other one. Okay, what I also like is that it's an uneven base here. If they were all straight in a row, that would not be beautiful to me. And then we have this one that is the tallest. I also like that this line is uneven. Oops, got a little too carried away there. Okay, so this is the basic shape here of what I'm doing. If I had to pick 3 values here, for sure the background would be black. This might take me a while. Probably should have done that first here. La 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 la. Sadie, the studio dog, is trying to get in, but I have locked her out. So if you hear scratching or barking or whining, trust me, she is okay. So this is pretty much all of the darkest darks. Now, it is probably obvious to you that the lightest light will be this jug right here. So I am not going to touch that. But I feel like this bottle, and the table are all the middle tones. And if we really wanted to, we could leave some of the sunlight here. We can leave that white. So let's do that. But for sure, that's a middle tone. This is a middle tone, and see, I left the white there, and then this is white, and then this is a middle tone. Now, obviously there are different shades, but we are limiting ourselves to just 3. Okay, so when I am painting this, here's what I'm going to keep in mind. I'm going to keep in mind that I'm not going to be shy about how dark my background is, because that'll make it look great and it will make this really stand out and come forward. I am also going to be cognizant of the glare from the sun on the right side of these bottles. That makes it realistic. That adds interest and beauty to the painting. And I'm also going to remind myself that when I sketch it out on this paper that's already here, I want to keep this off center. My natural tendency is to put things off center to the left, and I don't know why that is. So I'm purposely putting it off center to the right. Just a tiny bit also. It's not that off center, but if you look, the distance here is much bigger than the distance here. And I like that. That makes me super happy. And of course, when I'm painting, I will add the dimension and the shadows under these bottles here, where the little bend is in the bottle. Yeah, I'm so excited. So I'm not gonna paint this in front of the camera, but I will definitely post my progress. If you follow my Facebook page, S. Larson Watercolors, or you can follow me on Instagram as well, and you will be able to see the steps and the finished product for sure. I'm excited to start this. Thanks for watching.